Today we'll bring in Stephen Friend. He is a former FBI special agent and a whistleblower as well. Served with the FBI for 8.5 years. We appreciate the time, Stephen. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on. Everything's said to be, quote, on the table at this hearing. I'm curious to know, and we'll take it step by step, Durham's report, John Durham's recent report that came in play, essentially saying that the FBI should have never launched a full investigation into connection between Donald Trump's campaign and Russia, that the FBI didn't really have the standing to do so. Is that going to be brought up today, and how could the director respond to that?
I think it inevitably will come up just because of the magnitude of that investigation and what it brought forward. I also think that the fact that John Durham reported on a confirmation bias that exists within the FBI, even with the highest ranking members, where the whistleblower we had come forward a couple of weeks ago sort of confirmed that and said that Paul Abate, who testified in front of the Senate Judiciary a few weeks ago and was pretty uncooperative with them, was on a phone call with executives around the FBI saying that anybody who objected to the January 6th investigation needed to find jobs elsewhere. So there's certainly evidence that's been presented that there's going to be cancellation of people within the FBI's ranks, and that I think ties to the weaponization against conservatives, and in essence is going to reflect on how the FBI has gone after President Trump.
Right, and it was also several Republicans have come out, including Congresswoman Laura Lee from Florida. She appeared on Newsmax yesterday saying the GOP, what you're pointing to, is looking for some real answers. Listen to this.
We have a number of really important questions for Director Wray. Right now, there's a real lack of confidence and some grave concern that in cases that FBI resources are being used for these types of things, or that people with certain viewpoints may be getting unfairly targeted. So I think restoring that trust begins with effective and thorough oversight.
And again, restoring that trust, and there are many Americans at home, even watching this broadcast, aside from those in D.C., that feel that there's a two-tiered system of justice that is going on, again, behind the walls of the FBI here. You're watching this. You've worked for the FBI for almost a decade. What can you tell the American people in terms of trusting the FBI and what can be learned today by Christopher Wray?
Well, I'm hoping the one aspect that's going to get fleshed out is the integrated program management that I was speaking to Congressman Massey about when I testified. And that is the fact that the FBI has a quota system in place, and it creates this perverse incentive where, in effect, law enforcement is intended to bring crime down, but the FBI has now implemented a system where they are incentivized to bring the crime stats up. And as a result of that, anybody that finds themselves in the crosshairs of the FBI, and those tend to be people who are politically problematic for the ruling elite, are going to be at risk of persecution, and the FBI is going to profit with larger bonuses for their executives and for an enhanced budget, as we've seen that their budget numbers continue to go up. And that's something that I think all Americans should be able to get behind. We don't want to have our law enforcement targeting Americans for unjust reasons, and certainly for self-enrichment. I think that should cross party lines.
Stephen, final thoughts from you on this. And again, this live look here, they continue to prepare. This hearing should kick off here shortly, again, around 10 a.m. Some other topics to come up: the investigator into the first son, Hunter Biden, the infamous laptop that the FBI does have a hold of, and that has been confirmed. Also, the raid on Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald Trump's home. Again, for those classified documents here and how that was handled versus, again, other vice president that had classified documents themselves. What do you think will probably be the key issue in today's hearing? Or do you expect Chris Wray to come out of this unscathed?
I think he's going to do everything he can to avoid accountability. He's going to use the tried and true tactic of saying ongoing investigations can't comment, can't reveal sources and methods. So it's going to be on the Republicans within this hearing to ask the questions and put him against the wall and force him to answer it. One issue that you didn't bring up that I think is very important is the abuse of whistleblowers. Certainly, Garrett O'Boyle, who sat at my side during our hearing, I would like to see a question asked to Christopher Wray: is it going to be the FBI's practice to facilitate the transfer of a whistleblower and then his suspension from duty to force him into financial hardship? And I think that he's not going to be able to hide behind ongoing investigations with that question.
Yeah, really quickly, I remember reporting on this with you and talking about that. Coming forward, essentially, you lost your privileges to view classified information and such. Can you talk about that and how, again, that did hurt you and others financially?
Yes, the FBI has weaponized the security clearance process. They suspend your security clearance, and once that happens, and it's not for whistleblowing on paper. Mine was for looking at the employee handbook improperly. And as a result of that, I was escorted out of the FBI facility and placed in an indefinite unpaid suspension status, and was also considered an FBI employee. So I was unpaid, yet employed, needed their permission to seek outside employment, which they denied me. And it's all an effort to encourage the whistleblowers to just resign and go away, and they never have to address the problems and issues we brought forward.
Well, Stephen, perhaps committee members are listening to this interview. That is an excellent question, and one that does need to be presented. We appreciate Stephen Friend, again, served 8.5 years with the FBI as a special agent. We do appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.